We've got breaking news coming in. The Press Trust of India, PTI, is reporting that the Indian Army is moving additional troops along the border in China and Arunachal. They're calling this a strategically key move. India pouring in more troops along the entire stretch of its border with China. In the northeast, the caution level among the troops has been raised. Remember, India today has been able to access exclusively these pictures. These pictures are from just around the Sikkim area. These have been sent by my colleague Manogya Loiwal. The images you're seeing were shot at 11 a.m. this morning. This is in a place called Rangpur. It's in the West Bengal Sikkim border. Forces moving towards Doklam via Nathula. Joining us for perspective on this, we've got Sudhiranjan Sen, Gaurav Sawant also with us covering the BIMSTEC meeting, our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan. I want to go across to Sudhi first. Sudhi, these images, we're seeing additional troop deployment. PTI putting out this story. What's the message the government is sending out across the Himalayas?
Well, before I get to that, first thing that the army, we have been trying to get a reaction from the army, and it says that there is no comment. This is what the army has been maintaining. They have been saying that we do not want to comment. That said, what we are getting to hear, that every year there is an operational alert that happens, and it happens in about September, but it looks like it's been preponed. But yes, it looks like some troops are being moved. But there is no clarity as yet. The maximum that we can draw is that India is signaling to Beijing, and at the same point of time trying to see that it's, nuts and bolts are in places, that if the balloon goes up, they will be ready to face the threat.
Gaurav, this is significant because see those pictures, they were filmed by people who were in that area passing through a civilian corridor. And remember, this is the way life is. There's so much human population now that they're likely to pass through civilian areas. A lot of this being filmed now on mobile phones. So very, very strong message being sent out. It is. That while we're not interested in war, we're ready for any eventuality.
Spot on, Rahul. That's the message India is sending out. There was a meeting between top generals of the Indian side and the Chinese side at Nathula. This is the border defense meeting. This was more to do also with Independence Day that's coming up. When we specifically talk of these images, there is an annual exercise that takes place in the Sikkim sector. A lot of troops move so that every 2 years when battalions change, new battalions know what is the standard operating procedure, how do they come in, where are they to deploy, what are hiccups if at all, and that is where these troops are going in.
Okay, so let's just put out that story for our viewers. Gaurav Sawant reporting that there was a high-level meeting, the highest level military meeting so far since the Doklam standoff between high-level representatives of the Indian and the Chinese army. This meeting happening today, Gaurav?
This afternoon, we are told, sources are telling India today, there was a major general.
How did the meeting go? So major generals on both sides?
Major generals on both sides. And there was a meeting earlier of brigadiers of both sides. Again, this is source-based, not officially being confirmed by either the Ministry of Defense or the Army headquarters. But sources telling India today that the only positive signal that's coming out is that engagement is still on between India and China at this point.
Stay with me, gentlemen. In the midst of all of this, our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan is reporting that there was a bilateral meeting between Sushma Swaraj, our External Affairs Minister, and her Bhutanese counterpart in Kathmandu on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC meeting in Nepal. All outstanding bilateral issues, naturally including Doklam, were discussed. Take a look at Geeta's report from Kathmandu.
As China continues to rant and rave over Doklam and refuses to withdraw from the disputed area, India and Bhutan put their heads together to find a way to tackle the dragon.
The bilateral meeting between External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and her Bhutanese counterpart here in Kathmandu focused on the border standoff at the India-China-Bhutan tri-junction. And the Bhutanese foreign minister emphasized that only an amicable and peaceful solution could resolve the situation in Doklam.
You discussed with the minister. You hope that the situation in Doklam will be resolved peacefully and amicably.
The meeting came on a day when China again issued a threat, saying it will not budge an inch backwards in Doklam. and then continued to warn India of serious military consequences if it doesn't withdraw from Doklam. We are prepared, Delhi warned Beijing. Just hours after India and Bhutan's meeting in Nepal, signs of a possible thaw emerged as Indian and Chinese officials met in Nathula, a few kilometers from Ground Zero Doklam. The first senior-level engagement in nearly 2 months raised hopes of a solution. With Geeta Mohan in Kathmandu, Bureau Report, India Today.